Welcome to the Top Business Leaders Show, powered by Rise 25 Media. We feature top founders, executives, and business leaders from all over the world.
Chad Franzen here, co-host for this show where we feature top restaurateurs, investors, and business leaders. This is part of our SpotOn Series. SpotOn has the best-in-class payment platform for retail, and they have a flagship solution called SpotOn Restaurant, where they combine marketing, software, and payments all in one. They've served everyone from larger chains like Dairy Queen and Subway to small mom-and-pop restaurants. To learn more, go to SpotOn.com. This episode is brought to you by Rise 25. We help B2B businesses to get ROI, clients, referrals, and strategic partnerships through done-for-you podcasts. If you have a B2B business and want to build great relationships with clients, referral partners, and thought leaders in your space, there's no better way to do it than through podcasts and content marketing. To learn more, go to rise25media.com or email us at support@rise25media.com. Austin Samuelson co-founded Tacos for Life a little more than 10 years ago. With 20 locations in 6 states, Tacos for Life specializes in serving fresh, quality menu items in a relaxed, quirky environment. For every taco, quesadilla, salad, or rice bowl purchased from Tacos for Life, the restaurant donates 24 cents to Feed My Starving Children, a nonprofit organization committed to ending childhood starvation. Since opening their first location in June of 2014, Tacos for Life restaurants have donated over 21 million meals. Austin, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Chad.
Yeah, there's a lot to get into here. So let me just get started with this question, though. Prior to Tacos for Life, what was your experience in the restaurant industry?
It was sitting in the drive-thru, sitting in the dining room. A lot of visits only as a customer, though. So very little, or actually no restaurant experience from behind the counter or in the kitchen or any of that.
Okay, so did you have any experience even as an owner or anything like that prior to Tacos for
None
Life?
whatsoever. This whole journey is, if you would have asked me, 12. Let's see, we've been on this journey for 11 years now, almost 11 years in January. If you would have asked me 11 years and 6 months ago if I would be in this position and own restaurants today, I would have laughed at you and said, "No, what are you talking about? There's no way." Not that I didn't want to, I just was not on the radar, and God had different plans for us. And as I'm sure we'll get into here in a minute, it really all comes from the mission, and that's what drew us to this. And now we love it. I absolutely love the restaurant industry, and it's wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
What is it about the restaurant industry that appeals to you?
Oh my goodness. I'm all about the experience and the food, and trying to create just something that people. So what we do with our food, with our tacos, our goal from a menu innovation standpoint is we want to create craveable food. And so we want to do that. And then we spend a lot of time with our environment and trying to tell a story inside the restaurants. And so we put a lot of time, investment, and intentionality into the decor and the look and the feel of our restaurant. So this experience that you get with the food, and then what you get in the dining experience, and then also with our mission of inviting our guests on this journey to help us end world starvation, is you package all three of those elements together, and it's a ton of fun. It's a lot of fun.
So it's clearly a mission-driven organization, and it started out that way from day one.
Yeah, absolutely. So the long story, I'll shorten it up to this. Basically, I was working in commercial real estate. My wife was teaching school. We were living in Southern California, and this is in 2009. And we started getting involved with feeding at a homeless shelter in downtown Los Angeles, Union Rescue Mission. And started doing that. There was a group of homeless people that lived. We lived pretty close to the corner of Sunset Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. And there was a group there. And there's one lady in particular that Ashton, my wife, got to know. She just rolled her window down and talked to her. And that's just Ashton. She everybody is a friend and someone she's known her whole life, And so we just started getting involved from a local standpoint with hunger. And then around that same time, there's a gentleman that came to the church we're going to, and his name is Rich Stearns. He's the CEO of World Vision, and a big organization that does work all over the world. And he came and he said a few things to us that day in church. He said, so the first thing is today, and this is in 2009, so this statistic is outdated, but he said, today, 18,000 children are going to die from starvation. And, we knew hunger was a problem. This thing, starvation, is a problem, but I'd never heard it like that before. It just hit us in the face. And he said, that happened yesterday, and it's going to happen tomorrow if we don't do something about it. The other thing that he said that really kind of challenged us was, he said, our planet produces more than enough food to feed every person. It's a distribution problem. And then the third and final thing he said, and we were in a church, so he was speaking to a setting of churchgoers. But he said, if folks just in America that go to church would do something small, we could solve this, and we could see a day when that number of 18,000 children dying simply because they don't have food to eat. We could see that day going to zero. UNICEF, World Vision, all the big organizations, United Nations, everybody agrees that hunger is the world's most solvable problem. It's just a matter of awareness and distribution, and that really is what started this journey. It didn't happen overnight. That planted a seed with Ashton and I, and over the course of 2 years, we kind of embarked on this journey of, okay, how could we be a part of helping end hunger, helping see a day when children don't die simply because they can't get food. And it didn't start with this idea of let's open a restaurant. It started with let's donate, let's volunteer, let's do all those things. But we just kept having this passion. We wanted to do more. And it ultimately led to that was at the same time when Tom's Shoes was really taking off and really popular. And so going back to your first question, Chad, of my experience in the restaurant industry, having never worked in a restaurant, I was thinking about Tom's Shoes, and I thought, man, if these guys can sell a pair of shoes and give a pair of shoes away, why can't somebody do that in the restaurant space? Like why? That should be so easy, right? And that just showed my ignorance there. But that's what started this journey. And so that question started in January of 2011. We ended up opening our first restaurant. It was called Pizza for Two. It was a pizza restaurant in September of 2011 here in Conway, Arkansas, with that whole mindset of donating a meal every time we sold a meal. And so that's what started this whole journey. And it eventually morphed into Tacos for Life as we grew and pivoted and so forth. So that's what took two folks that had never had plans, never worked in a restaurant before, but got us into this, and we absolutely love it now.
Yeah, that is amazing. I think if I had heard the same thing from the same guy, I probably would have reached to my wallet and seen what kind of cash I had and then called it good. But you guys are amazing. So tell me a little bit about how Pizza for Two morphed into Tacos for Life.
Yeah, so we opened Pizza for Two, and it was a restaurant opened by people who had never worked in a restaurant before. Does that make sense?
I've heard stories.
Yeah, exactly. And this restaurant business thing, there's a high success rate. And I say that jokingly. There's not, right? So it was a challenge. It was a struggle. We grinded for 3 years with it, and we learned a lot, and a lot of late nights, a lot of always working, and but we were donating meals, and we're donating about 300 meals a day, and so that kept us going. But we did question, okay, is this the right thing? And we just had this burning desire, Ashton and I did, to try to figure out how to make this work. And we had a few different people that we really respected pose the question of, hey, we love the mission, we love the concept behind that, but if you tried it with a different style of food, if you started over, could we get it going? Could we get some more traction with it? And so that's really where Tacos for Life really kind of morphed out of, was we just really said, okay, if we're going to start over, what would we do differently? What type of food would we serve? And started we went to the whiteboard and brainstormed all that out. And that's where Tacos for Life grew out of. And we've always loved Mexican food. It's kind of ironic we didn't start there. Tacos have always been our favorite style of food. So, but we're here now. And so that's what brought us to it.
So what made you confident as somebody who's never worked in a restaurant, that you could just come up with food that people would find craveable?
Well, we love to eat, and everybody's a self-proclaimed foodie nowadays, and we're definitely one of those. We're in that camp. We just love to eat, and so the thought being, if we love to eat it, I think other people will, and maybe that's maybe we're overly confident in that, but that was the mindset, and we, of course, Ashton would cook for everybody. We'd have friends over, we'd have family over, and going back to like the pizza restaurant, we had no idea how to cook pizzas, in a commercial setting in a conveyor style oven. Never done that, right? And so we moved in with my parents when we started this journey, and that was a humbling experience, going from living on walking distance to the beach in Santa Monica, California, to living in the basement of my parents' house. But we did that. We bought a pizza oven. And we just started making pizzas, and we would just have friends over, family over, and we were just every night cooking pizzas and getting feedback. And that's what we started with that. And then when we did Tacos for Life, we did the exact same thing. We just started cooking, and we'd go a couple times a week down to our food distributor, and they had a test kitchen down there, and we would cook. And it ended up being one of those things where, all the folks, all the support staff, they would cycle through and they would make suggestions and, hey, what about this? And, ideas. And it's very much just a collective effort on both restaurants from the food standpoint. And it really still is,
So no formal culinary training. You guys this is just something you guys like cooking, you like eating, and these tacos are something else that people like eating.
Exactly. Yep.
Wow. That is absolutely amazing. Was there ever a time during maybe the initial struggles of breaking into the restaurant industry that you were asking yourself, what am I doing?
Oh yeah. 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 So, really, we really reached a point of burnout, I would say. And just that asking that question, Chad, during the Pizza for 2 days, and really to the point of thinking, man, this is too hard. We need to do something else. Let's throw in the towel. And really, life has a funny way of messing with you. But we're kind of at this point, and Ashton and I had got invited to go on a food distribution trip with the organization we work with, Feed My Starving Children, and then the one on the ground in the area we went to was Children's Cup, and they were working in Swaziland, Africa, which is in the southern portion of Africa. And we got invited to go. And we were so tired. The business wasn't making money. It was the last thing that we could afford to do. It was the last thing we could do was be away from the business. And I didn't want to go. But, a few people in our lives, they were like, you guys need to go and get on that plane, go to Africa and see what you're doing. And God really used that to really remind us that, okay, what we're doing has a bigger purpose. And keep going, keep fighting. And I remember the first day we were there, we were helping scoop up bowls of rice at this feeding center. Okay. And there's about 150 kids there, and very impoverished area. For a lot of these kids, it was the only meal they were getting in that day. I mean, this is critical, right? And we're scooping up this food. And, I remember thinking when we started, I'm like, okay, this is why we've been doing what we're doing. This is great. Felt so good, invigorated. And I'm the one scooping, Ashton's handing out. We got this big pot of rice, okay? And looking down the line, and I'm a planner, right? I'm looking down the line, I'm thinking, man, this rice mill is going down faster than the line is going down. And we got about halfway down in the pot, and we told the ladies that helped prepare it, I was, hey, where's the rest of them? We need more food. And they said, that's it. That's all we have for today. And it's still hard for me to even retell the story, but we ran out of food. We ran out of food with about 12 kids still left in line. And these kids were incredible. They line up, youngest to oldest, girls first, then boys, and so polite, so thankful. But we ran out with about 10 to 14-year-old boys. And I have 4 boys myself. And just to think about, telling these kids, man, we're out of food, And we were able to scrounge around. There's a banana hut style place down the road, little grassroots hut that sold Coca-Cola and bananas and bread and that sort of stuff. And we went and grabbed some stuff and were able to get the kids some food. But that's where I remember in that moment, Ashton and I looking at each other saying, okay, we can get over ourselves. We gotta push through, and we got to keep fighting until, God tells us to stop, or until we die, because there's kids that need to be fed. And so that's really was kind of the, we're kind of at this breaking point, but that's what pushed us into, okay. And really led the transition with trying to figure out Tacos for Life and pushed us into that.
Did you, when you got back, did you have like adjustments in mind to kind of improve things, or did you just kind of pray?
Yeah, both. Both, absolutely. The reality of it is, we knew almost immediately after we opened the pizza restaurant, okay, there's some things if we could do over, we would do it over and do it differently. So we had that list of things, and one of them just being the food side of it, just making a product. When we first started with the pizza restaurant, we leaned so heavily on the mission, and our guests were all about the mission, and they were there because of the mission. But the food was okay, But we learned and we realized, okay, when we do the next concept, when we do the next thing, and being tacos, like the food has got to be at this craveable place where even if the guest doesn't know about the mission, which I don't want to happen, but even if that were to be the case, they would still want to eat with us on a regular basis because it's so good, And so that's really was one of the big kind of pivots for us of like, okay, the mission is there, and that's why we exist, but we can't rely on that to run the business. The product has got to be the best. It's got to be the best tacos in town.
So tell me about Tacos for Life. We'll get into the whole donation situation in a moment, but I described your atmosphere as quirky. What can a customer expect when they go in there in terms of both food and experience?
Yeah, I love this question because we work really hard to create an experience for the guests. We have over 14 different tacos on the menu. We say they're chef inspired, although we don't have a chef, but they are, they're very carefully put together. And like I've already said, to have this flavor pack, craveable, unique profile. And so they're going to see anything from, your classic fajita chicken taco or steak taco to my personal favorite, the Korean barbecue and fried chicken tacos. The fried chicken is Ashton's grandma's Southern, old school fried chicken recipe with a chipotle aioli on it and honey. So it's got this sweet and spicy flavor that's just out of this world good. The Korean barbecue taco is phenomenal as well. But we have this broad spectrum of you have some traditional stuff, and then we have some more adventurous items that we love. And I think that's what makes tacos fun. We also have salads and rice bowls and quesadillas, and we have great kids meals. So we have we're not just tacos. We have a pretty well-rounded menu, but the bulk of our business is in tacos, and we work really hard at creating some fun flavor profiles there.
So tell me a little bit more about the donation program. Then you guys donate to this organization, and you've already been to kind of where they serve mainly. Can you tell me about that process and everything that goes into it?
Yeah, so it's really modeled off of Tom's shoes, and they do more than shoes now, but it's modeled off of that 1 for 1, and because we want it to be very clear. So every time you buy a taco, a salad, a rice bowl, or a quesadilla, we donate 24 cents off of that meal. And so we think about that no different than the price that we would pay for the tortilla. It is going to happen whether we, you come in and we discount your taco or whatever, whether we're making money this month or we're not, we're donating that meal. It's 1 for 1. It's not based off of percentages or profits or any of that. So it makes us as a business, we have to operate very efficiently because of that. We just added this extra line in our cost of goods. So we do that. We work with an organization since the beginning, still work with them, that phenomenal organization called Feed My Starving Children. They're based out of Minneapolis, incredibly great organization. They can be trusted. 90 cents on every dollar that you send them goes directly to feeding. They're highly, highly, highly recommended, highly rated in the nonprofit world. So they provide food to places all over the world. They work with over 70 different organizations all around the world. Everything from really big organizations like a Compassion International to a family that runs an orphanage, in the middle of Central Africa or something. So they they really reach the whole gamut as far as that goes. But they're a great organization, and so every time you come in and buy a meal, we send a check to them every week, and they ensure that these meals get to the places that they say they're going to get to, and to places that need them the most. And the cool thing is, we had our experience where we went to Africa. I've since been back 4 other times with them that are pre-COVID. We'll look forward to the day once we get past COVID where we can start this again. But pre-COVID, our managers and franchisees, they would join us on trips as well and get to see firsthand the food in action and the impact that it has in the communities that it's going to.
So you switch from pizza to tacos. You've got a quirky atmosphere. You've got this incredible donation program. When you opened your first taco restaurant, what gave you the most traction and results, do you feel like?
I think a couple things. We used a crowdfunding campaign to fund the first Tacos for Life here in Conway. Because coming out of a not successful pizza restaurant into another restaurant, it's not a very bankable business proposition, right? So we used crowdfunding, and fortunately, we had over 350 people around Arkansas and around the country that helped participate and heard about it. And so I think that really drove a lot of the early excitement, because it was a community effort. People were excited about a new concept and one where it had a purpose behind it. And so I really think that drove a lot of our early success. And then I think since then, it's just been executing on the food and the service and the mission, and those 3 elements really working well together.
At what point did you know that, okay, we're doing well with one location, that it's time to, start to grow like you have?
Well, I think, honestly, after the very first day we opened Tacos for Life, because it was unlike anything we'd experienced at Pizza for Two. It rained, thunderstormed all day long, like the sideways rain, and we had a line out the door still. And when we finally closed at 9:00, exhausted, I remember looking at Ashton and our manager, and I was like, I think this is going to work. And they were like, yeah, no joke, And that was really kind of what led us thinking, okay, we might have something here that we can do some more locations and raise more meals.
So you guys franchise locations. Does the typical franchisee for Tacos for Life maybe have to be wired a little differently than maybe other franchisees?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been franchising since 2017, but we've taken it very slow, and now we're really starting to hit that point where we're franchising is becoming the focal point of what we're doing. And I can share more about that. But to answer your question specifically, we look for, in a prospective franchisee, they have to be all about the mission. They have to be here because of the mission, but they equally have to be all about running a profitable, excellent restaurant. And one can't go above the other. If profits go above the mission, then the mission fails and the whole thing crumbles down. If the mission goes above running a profitable, excellent restaurant, then ultimately, the restaurant fails and the mission falls behind, right? So we're really looking for that individual or group of individuals that have that equal drive and passion for both.
So what are your goals for the future? You talked about franchising become kind of your primary focus at this point.
Yeah. So, we opened the first tacos in 2014, started franchising in 2017. And really our goal has been, let's build out the state of Arkansas. So we have 11 locations here within the state of Arkansas that are company restaurants and really working and have worked to prove out the model and provide systems and processes and something that a franchisee can come to and say, okay, you've been down this road more than a few days. This is something that is worthy of investing in and participating in. And so we worked really hard at that. And now that we've got the state built out, for the most part, we're really looking at, okay, as we go outside of the state, we're in six states right now. We want it to be franchising, because I really feel that's the other side of our mission. As we go outside of the state, we just opened one in St. Louis, Missouri 2 weeks ago. And the franchisees there, Matt and JC, they're in the community. They've been telling all their friends and family about the mission. They are all about the mission. They're all about running a great restaurant. And when they're able to do that there in their community of O'Fallon, Missouri, it just something special happens. And the same thing in all the other locations. And I think that's why franchising is so attractive to us, because we see that it can really put a little extra juice on the mission and get a lot of excitement out there, more so than what we could do here in Central Arkansas, 3 states over.
How satisfying is it to know that you have this mission? 21 million meals, that's pretty good. How satisfying is that for you?
Well, we're blown away. Just absolutely blown away. It's, we have a phenomenal team, and we have an incredible guest base here in Arkansas and at other locations. And the guests are the ones that raise the meals. So we just feel very, very blessed,
I have one final question for you, but first, just let me know, where can people find more information about Tacos for Life?
Yeah, so we have a great website. You can all the information you want to know about the mission, learn everything you want to know about food, learn about franchising and franchise opportunities and what it looks like to be a franchisee. All that's on our website. Great website, tacosforlife.com. So yeah, I would really encourage people to go check us out there.
Last question for you. What are some books or podcasts that you have particularly found valuable for you or that you've enjoyed?
Yeah, so our team, that's a good question. Our team is all about the Patrick Lencioni's books, so The Advantage, and we're going through The Truth About Employee Engagement right now, The Ideal Team Player, his books. We really love all of his books, and they have a podcast as well called The Table Group, and it's all about organizational health and how to work better as a team so that you can be effective in your business. And that's really our go-to, mine personally, but our teams as well. We really lean into that pretty heavily here.
Okay. Hey, I really appreciate your time, Austin. You've got an incredible story, and I wish you the very best in the future. Thank you so much for joining me and for sharing your insights.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chad.
So long, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Top Business Leaders Show, powered by Rise 25. Visit rise25.com to check out more episodes of the show and to learn more about how you can start your own podcast.